What's up, y'all? How are y'all? So, y'all, we're gonna make a Deco mesh wreath with this Bunny Kisses and Easter Wishes sign. This sign was exclusive, I believe, to the January box. So, if you didn't get your hands on that, I'm sorry. And if you're not subscribed to the resupply box, that's where this one came from, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this came in that box. But so Bunny Kisses and Easter Wish, I do believe that on DecoExchange.com there are tons and tons of Easter signs and all kinds of signs that they print in house and they press in house. So you can always check out that selection. This one doesn't have a code because this one was exclusive to that subscription box. But I just pulled together some stuff that I was going to use. I went off the colors that are on my sign. So I brought in some Easter eggs. So there's some Easter eggs. Some purples and pinks. This really pretty plaid pattern ribbon. Purples, some turquoise, and then I'm going to add in a pop of black and white. So that's what we're going to do. And then I just brought in some lavender, pink, turquoise mesh. I'm not sure which color I'm going to use because I wanted to use this mesh, but I don't think I have enough of it. So I had to go with this next option. But we are going to do the Jordan method. So I do want to go ahead and cut my ribbon tails first. And we're also going to use some leftover 60919. Last Friday I did a project on the DecoExchange Facebook page where I only used one piece of this 60919. So I pulled the colors that I had left over, which was the pink, the turquoise, and the lavender. So we're going to use those as well. Because like I've said, 60919 is really versatile and you can really use it in anything, like your deco mesh wreaths, your grapevine wreaths, or centerpieces, arrangements, whatever it may be, you can use that in there. Good morning, y'all. So I need a total of 9 cuts of ribbon per color. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's that one. Good morning, y'all. Next, we're going to bring in the lavender. Y'all, I do want to say I did wake up with a sore throat today. So I am still going to be talking, but hopefully it's minimally. So I need 9 of each color, like I said. Absolutely love this Easter plaid ribbon. The SKU on this is RGP 1098 A as an apple 2. Look how pretty, look how fun that is. That's totally an Easter ribbon. 60919 is most likely sold out. But if you try a Google search, it might pull up other places that have it. But I do know that 60919 is sold out at DecoExchange until at least the late summer, early fall, I believe. have the sore throat. But the show must go on, y'all. Good morning, y'all. Also, I'm still trying to understand the YouTube, because I don't know if YouTube keeps the live chats like how they do on Facebook. So I don't want people to start getting confused of what's being said and why I'm saying what. So we're going to dovetail these ribbons. Now, and believe it or not, I actually went to the craft store this weekend, and I went to the craft store on Friday because I needed some stuff. And guess what I didn't buy? I didn't buy pipe cleaners. I didn't buy glue sticks. I bought me a new pair of scissors, but they're still in the trunk of the car. So yeah. So these ribbon tails I cut at 13 inches. 13 inches is my go-to ribbon tail length. Like, that's my no-fail ribbon tail length. That's the go-to. To me, 12 inches was just too small, and to me 14 inches is just too long. 13 gives me that perfect look that I'm going for. But if you do ribbon tails that are 14 inches, more power to you. If you do ribbon tails that are 12 inches, more power to you. Stacking all of those up on each other. And now I'm going to make the decision, do I want the blue on the plaid or do I want the purple on the plaid? I think I want the purple on the Easter egg. Yeah, and then you want to know what makes this even worse is that the wind is blowing and it's picking up all that dust. Because I live in a dry climate, so yeah, it's not making it any better. So I'm just going to set those right there on my shelf in front of my table. I went to Hobby Lobby a few weeks ago and I walked out of there spending $57. It was under $100. I myself was shocked. I was like, under $100? Holy moly. That hasn't happened in years. Okay. I'm going to put this off to the side because I'm going to need to use my metal hole punch for that. Yeah, and I do use a pre-made work wreath frame. I get mine at DecoExchange. fit here. Trying to see if I have enough of this mesh to put this on the outer ring for my ruffles, y'all. Am I going to have enough? I do have enough, y'all. Yes! Okay, so I cut these at 30 inches. And I only cut these first because I wanted to make sure that I had enough of them. So these are going to be my outer ring ruffles, and that's great because I really wanted to use this mesh. Because it's a roll that I had, so I always want to use what I have left over. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. So next, I'm going to add, I want to do lavender. I'm going to do the lavender one, and this is RE850213. You can find that at shoplikeJordan.com or DecoExchange.com. Either one takes you to the same place. So I am cutting my ruffles for the outer ring first. That way I just know I have them all ready to go. Like, you've probably heard me talk about it before. If you haven't heard me talk about it, y'all know, like, January and February are kind of like the gloomy gray months. You know, you're coming off of all the holiday cheer, and so you're taking down the Christmas decorations, you're purging, you're looking through your stuff and donating or whatever it may be that you need to do. So it's kind of always just like gloomy and gray, but I love, especially like right after Valentine's Day, because I know that Easter's on the horizon. That means spring is almost here. That means color, gardening, things like that. So that's what I love, designing Easter wreaths and spring and summer wreaths. Last week I was looking at all the stuff that we did last week, and I was like, man, last week was really, really colorful. Because I did a lot of projects on both pages, and they're just all chocked full of color. Okay, so I am getting my 21-inch mesh, using that on my inner ring. Yeah, this is the inner ring and this is the outer ring. The inner ring is the one that's on the top because it's elevated. Okay, like I said, I use the pre-made work wreath forms. I don't add the pipe cleaners myself. They're already on there for me. So for me, I love making spring and summer wreaths. I really like making all kinds of wreaths. It doesn't matter what season it is. But I just know, like, after about spring break in March, depending on your location, I live in West Texas, so that's about time to start really getting out there, cleaning the yard, I'm getting everything ready for the summer months. So I am measuring these loops 10 inches, these poofs. I don't know if I said that. I don't believe I did say that, but these are 10 inches. And I'm just doing it on the inner ring. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because this is the Jordan method, and that's my go-to method for my Deco mesh wreath. Because I love using the burlap poly mesh, because it offers a nice neutral background. For me, it does. It allows all my colors to really just stand out and pop. Now you could use a white mesh if you wanted to, but this is one that I always have on hand, is the poly burlap mesh. Okay, so those are our 10-inch poofs on the inner ring. So we only do the inner ring because I want to put the outer ring with my ruffles of 30 inches. So these are my 30-inch ruffles. Normally, this just wants to really just curl up on itself, and I kind of let it do that, and then I just kind of try and match them up a little bit. Let them do that, and then just run it up against my stomach. If you want to, you can set it down and do it that way, but this is the way I do it. So just making some ruffles. Like I said, these were 30 inches. These were 30-inch ruffles on the outer ring. So that's what we're going to have. We're going to alternate our colors. We're going to have purple, pink, lavender, pink, lavender, pink. I don't even know what I'm doing for Easter. Hopefully I'm doing something fun for Easter. Oh no, I am. Well, not during Easter, but after Easter. I am actually going to, after Easter, I'm going to meet up with some friends and we're going to go to Elton John. So that'll be fun. We have a cold front coming in this weekend, but I think it's like gonna last like 2 days. I think the lowest is supposed to be like 30 something here. Okay, so like I said, just getting those ruffles that we cut, these were 30 inches, and just letting them kind of curl. Even if you have to help it just a little bit, run that together, and that's what we put. That's our ruffle. I don't put it right side or upside down. I just stick it in there whichever way I want to. I know that's a question I always get asked. Are the curls up or are they down? Whatever I want to do, y'all. Oh, I love these colors. Oh, these are perfect Easter colors to me. Pink and lavender. Perfect Easter colors. And I know a lot of people always think that, um, personally, I don't like the color pink. That's just me. Um, I don't like it, but I do like to use it in my spring, Easter, and summer wreaths. Because a lot of people do like pink. I just personally don't like it. Now, purple, on the other hand, I love the color purple. Okay, so we're on our last ruffle, which is pink. Okay. So that's what we have right now. Look how nicely those 30-inch ruffles filled up that outer ring. And look how nice and thick that. Now I do want to go and add another color of ruffle. And I am going to use that light pink and um, that light pink and turquoise to bring in that color of turquoise. And I only need 4 of each color of this. The SKU on the turquoise is RY850771. And then this is just a pink metallic foil pink. And these need to be 18 inches. So just kind of know the 18 inches. And I only need 4 cuts of this, because these are my inner ring ruffles. I don't put my inner ring ruffles to be 30 inches because that's just going to make it really thick. If I wanted to do that, I would have not put in that 21-inch mesh as a base. I would have just put the ruffles in there all the way around on the inner and the outer ring of 30 inches. So there we go, y'all. Put them on that shelf. And of course, we added that turquoise because there's little touches of turquoise in that wreath, in that sign, because there's pink and then there's gold. And I really didn't want any gold in this. So once again, it kind of just, if it naturally curls, just follow the curl. If you have to help it just a little bit, you have to help it just a little bit, y'all. So just choosing one of my ties and untwisting it, setting that in, and twisting that back in. So we picked up our pink, and we picked up our lavender, and then we picked up our turquoise that are in the sign. Y'all, I'm looking at that sign and I'm just realizing that her eyelashes are really, really big. I know some girls love those big eyelashes. So this bunny here definitely loves her big eyelashes. But that's what I love about the monthly subscription box that DecoExchange has. They if they put in a sign in there, I love the exclusivity of it because it's just exclusive to that box. Meaning that that sign isn't going to be available for purchase. So, I mean, for $60 a month, you get between $80 and $90 worth of supplies. Y'all, I personally went with Parker in December, and we chose the second half of 2022's boxes. They're amazing. Not just because I helped, but like you get the most bang for your buck out of those boxes, and for $60, I'm like, heck yeah, I want that. And if you're watching this on a replay, you can always go to wreathsupplybox.com, and it varies month to month if they have a wait list or if they have available spots. So always just check out that. You can see if you can sign up for it. So y'all, look how cute that is. Look, there's the turquoise and the lavender and the pink. Absolutely love how this is already coming out. Okay. So we've cut all of our ribbons already. We did cut that at the beginning. These are 13 inches. Okay, 13 inches. And I want to make sure that when I'm adding my ribbon tails in, this Easter egg ribbon is predominantly pink. So I want to set that in the ruffles that are blue and purple. Y'all, last year they sent out an amazing box, like amazing box. It was an all black and white box, like, and it had, that box had this ribbon. Y'all, look how pretty that ribbon is. So you already got the wow factor with this ribbon. Then when you open the package, y'all, it was a double-sided damask and harlequin pattern ribbon. Hello. Y'all, I'm telling you, like, and that was just in that box. So it was like an exclusive item to that box. They didn't list it on DecoExchange afterwards. So I was like, yeah, yes, please. All black and white box. Absolutely loved it. That was probably one of my favorite boxes. Okay. So we're going to be adding our ribbon tails in. And I always untwist my wreath ties and set it in. To me, and this is just me, I know other people have different opinions about it, but to me it allows once I secure that tightly, it really makes my ribbon tails kind of go where I want them to go. So once I secure that tightly, like I said, it is windy, so if you hear that, it is the wind. It's really windy outside. Now, that black and white ribbon in that box was like the holy grail of ribbons to come in one of those boxes. Now let me just say, it's not easy. It's not easy choosing stuff because the supplier has thousands upon thousands of SKUs, and items to choose from, and you're like, well, how do you top the next box? How do you top that box? How do you top this box? So, but we both collaborated together and we put them together, and I think they're amazing. The boxes that are going out now are the ones that Parker and Mel chose, which is the first half of 2022. And they're just... January's box was amazing. February's box, I haven't received mine yet, but I'm excited. I love this plaid ribbon, but I want to be 100% honest with y'all. It is a pretty ribbon, but I feel that it might have been just a little too bright for my sign, but that's okay, because I'm going to make it work. Just because the colors on the sign are a little bit more muted. They're truly pastel colors, and these aren't pastels per se, but they are spring colors, and it's a really pretty Easter ribbon. I think it's a pretty Easter ribbon if you were going to do bright color Easter. But that's what we do. We make things work. Adding in our ribbon tails, we're down to our last few. Yo, it is really howling out there, which is not going to be good for my allergies, but just setting those in. I always untwist that wreath tie. Always untwist that wreath tie. And set it in there, and then twist it back in. So like I said, well, I do love that plaid ribbon. I think it may have just been a tad bit too bright for this, the colors on it, but that's okay. My great words, it is what it is. If something just doesn't work out, then it is what it is. If it works out differently, it is what it is. Okay, so now we've added... Oh, okay, well, so I can see it in the camera, and it doesn't look that noticeable. I guess maybe because I'm up close to it, so it's really not that big of a deal now that I kind of see it on the camera. So that's what we did. We put all our ribbon tails and all the wreath ties. So now I've got to find an inconspicuous spot to tie some pipe cleaners in. Now this is a metal hole punch. Mine came in one of the subscription boxes as well. I think it was a Christmas present from Damon and Parker. I'm really just trying to pinpoint where I want. Because y'all, like I said, I didn't buy pipe cleaners, and I would highly recommend if you're putting pipe cleaners on a sign that they at least match the color of the sign. I unfortunately only have brown right now because, like I said, I bought new scissors, but I didn't buy pipe cleaners. So definitely a trip to Walmart's craft section is in my future. But like I always recommend, if you don't have the cable mount squares to apply to the back, you can always use that hole punch. Running that through my mesh and just coming through, and I want to tie that into my wreath frame. So I always make sure I wrap those pipe cleaners or wire, whatever it may be that I use to attach my sign. I always make sure I add that into, and I always wrap it around my work frame. You always want to make sure you're wrapping it around your work frame. I don't like just wrapping that pipe cleaner like once or twice. Like whatever's left on that pipe cleaner, I really wrap that around that work frame. So it could be like between 6 to 8 inches worth of pipe cleaner that I wrap around that work frame. But I want to make sure that this sign's not going anywhere. And for me, so I don't know if it's just me and maybe other people too, but for me it's just more aesthetically pleasing if I put the sign in the top left hand corner and then a bow in the bottom right hand corner. I don't know what it is, but I always look back at a lot of my pictures of my wreaths and things, and I'm like, the sign's like always in the same spot and a bow's always, even though it's completely different. But for me, that's what I like, and that's what I know works for me. If it works for you a different way, then y'all, there's no. I really don't think there's a right way and a wrong way. So you do whatever you want to do. If you, for you, the bow is better on the bottom left, and then the sign on the top right, then go for it. Okay, so we've attached our sign. Oh, look how cute that is, y'all. I'm trying to make sure not to get a glare. Okay, so next I do want to make a half bow. It's my new favorite bow. And I want to put that right here, but I want to add in that 4-inch black and white ribbon that I chose. Now that 4-inch black and white did come from my personal stash. I did not get that at DecoExchange. It is a Ferris silk ribbon. But I was like, I want to use that black and white one. Okay, So we're going to start off by adding our purple first. So we're going to have two 1.5 inch ribbons, two 2.5 inch ribbons, and one 4-inch ribbon. So we're going to make a tail. I want to make that one 12 inches. I'm going to pinch it. And we're going to measure a 9-inch loop to begin with. 9-inch loop, pinch, and twist. And then about a 7-inch tail. So that's what we should have so far. Kind of zoom in on that for y'all. That's what we should have so far. Next, we're going to go in with our turquoise. And now I want to measure that first tail at 7 inches because I want to make sure my tails are going opposite directions. 9-inch loop, pinch and twist, and then a 12-inch tail. So I know a lot of people really struggle with bows. You know, if you use those exact same measurements, and if you're not confident enough to do it in your hand, y'all pull out your easy bow maker. You can do the exact same thing on it, just you're going to be working from the back to the front. Okay, so 12-inch tail, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to do an 11-inch loop. Pinch and twist. Now we're just going to go up in size of tail. So we're going to do 8-inch tail. Yep, I love that already. I love that little Easter egg print ribbon. Look how cute that is. Tail. Inch loop, pinch and twist, and now I want this to be my longer tail, so I want this one to be 12 inches. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what we should have so far. And notice how my tails are going in certain directions. That's how I want that bow to look like. Next, we're going to add in this black and white ribbon. Now, DecoExchange always has a nice assortment of black and white ribbons. But you know what? Hold on. I think I'm going to add another 2.5-inch ribbon. I've kind of had my eyeball on this since I started making this wreath. Because there is a little bit of floral print on that sign. I want to throw in some of this pastel floral print ribbon. Now, DecoExchange definitely does not carry this. I got this from another supplier. But I can give y'all the SKU if you want to try and look it up. RG770-33. Y'all, this is the pastel version of the bright floral print ribbon that y'all have seen a lot of people use. Even I myself have used this one, but this is the pastel version of it. So next, making my tail, hinge, making my loop. I'm kind of eyeballing this to see, and now I can give you all the measurement. That's 14 inches. That's a 14-inch loop. 9-inch tail. Okay. My zip tie. Using my pipe cleaner. The way I'm holding this, I always just run that through right by my middle finger. Now I do live in West Texas. One day it'll be windy and sunny, and then the next day it's snowing and freezing. So, yeah. And I like using zip ties because look how nice and fluffy it made that bow. Extend my ribbon tails where I want them to go. Y'all, that's the great power of wired ribbon. You can kind of manipulate them where you want them to go. So look how pretty that bow looks. Okay. And the other thing too about my work area, it's literally right next to the window. So that's why you hear the wind a little bit more. It's right next to the window. Y'all, I really need to clean my work area. It's driving me crazy. Because it's kind of just thrown all this stuff down here. I'm like, ugh. You gotta go. So bringing our wreath back. And I'm going to choose a spot where to put this. Cut off my zip tie. And I'm going to run that through that mesh right here in the bottom right hand corner. I'm making sure to secure that to my work wreath frame. I always, when it's my sign, I always wrap that ribbon around that work wreath frame. The same thing, the pipe cleaner, and the same thing with the pipe cleaners for my bows. I always try to make sure and I wrap them around my work wreath frame. Okay. So now we're going to just dovetail my ribbons. So now dovetailing, you can kind of just dovetail them at whatever length you want. I always try and make sure that if I need to go back and cut it, that I can cut more off if I need to. So I always try and get as close to the edge as possible versus cutting like 3-4 inches off at one time, and then I'm like, ooh, I needed that 3-4 inches. Black and white is such a nice color to mix into any wreath. The only time I don't really add black and white into a wreath is a patriotic wreath. I don't really add a black and white into patriotic designs. But spring and summer and fall and Christmas, you'll see me adding black and white. Okay. So yeah, look how pretty that looks. Just that one little black and white, but it really makes things pop. Okay. So next I am getting my 60919. Y'all, these were pieces that were left over. So I want to, and I have a total of 6 pieces. So I want to just separate them from that core stem because I'm going to add all 6 of these in there. And I chose the turquoise, pink, and the lavender because that's what matched my wreath the most. Okay, so making sure and fluffing that out. You always want to make sure you fluff out your floral stems. You don't want them all kinds of janky and just flat in there. Applying some hot glue. Want to come in through and just start adding our 60919. And I'm always trying to make sure that I when I add that in, that I'm adding it to where one of those ties are. Let's see, I think I want pink next. I need one of those notepads so I can put it right here. Be like, this is what you need: pipe cleaners, white pipe cleaners, and hot glue sticks. Really just fluffing those out. Yo, I think out of all the colors of 60919, this turquoise has to be my favorite color. Now, but are any of y'all like me? Like, you go to the craft store with intentions of only getting something like this, and then you end up just really browsing the entire store, and before you know it, you're like, oh, what have I done? You end up with a full basket load, and you're like, I didn't come in for any of this. That's me. That is 100% me. I'm like, I didn't come in for this. I mean, not just any craft store. Like, you go to the grocery store and you're like, oh, that sounds good. Let's try that. Or let's make this. And then you're like, before you know, you're like, the total's what? $400? What? I came in for spaghetti sauce. So, yeah. I know y'all can relate to me on that. Okay, so I want to add one more of these stems. I think I'm going to add it right here. I have a perfect spot for it. Okay. Y'all, it was a thing I saw the other day, and it says, I've come to the conclusion that buying craft supplies and using craft supplies are two totally different hobbies. Guilty. So y'all, look how pretty that came out with that 60919. Absolutely love how this came out. Nice and wispy. Easter kisses and bunny wishes. So we started off with that work wreath frame. Then we added 10-inch poofs of 21-inch mesh, which is that burlap poly jute mesh. Then we added 30-inch ruffles on the outer ring, 18-inch ruffles on the inner ring on top of that 21-inch mesh. We added our ribbon tails, which are 13 inches. 13 inches, like I said, is kind of my go-to ribbon length. Then we added in our sign. We made our half bow, and then we added in our 60919. So yeah, I'm telling you, those half bows, kind of like, if you really look at them, they look like full big bows, but they're half bows. It's only half the amount of ribbon you used on a regular bow. Okay, so y'all, that's all I have. Remember, we are live here Tuesday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on the YouTube channel. And then we're live Tuesday through Friday as well at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on the DecoExchange Facebook page. Okay, so y'all make sure you're always signed up for notifications. We don't always send out a text message or alerts, but I do know, I believe YouTube and Facebook both do that if you're signed up to their notifications on both platforms. Okay, so that's all I have. And y'all, I will see you guys later if you want to join us on the DecoExchange Facebook page at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, so